charges. He says if it isn't broke, don't fix it. He was not in favor of this at all. So that's just an opinion expressed.
With the interruption and everything, help me out because I don't understand. How is charging a fee going to keep you from being interrupted more?
It's not. Possibly, though, it will. If they have to pay me, perhaps they'll go to a minister and pay. The big enticement is to come in and get it free. That's the reason.
The enticement is the speed.
No, speed would, you could call a minister and run by the house and do it too. It's the fact that it's well known that we don't charge, it's free, it's a free service.
Well, if it's not the speed, could you set up certain times or whatever that it's acceptable to do them and maybe help out that way, help your office that way, or would that be? I just think.
I don't see them following that any more than
You tell them
they
got to come back tomorrow.
that they put on clothes and don't come in their pajamas to get married. So I don't think it makes much difference, Dale. I think if that's what you want to do, and Mr. Wellnuts likes doing it, then my office will discontinue doing it, and Mr. Wellnuts can do it free.
Any other comments from the council? Yes, ma'am.
Take a comment from the gallery.
I'll make a habit of it, but yes.
Well, I will say, I work in that office, and we do not send anyone over here. We tell them, here's the numbers, you need to call and make an appointment. They get over there, and then they're calling us saying, why are you sending people over here? We have never told anyone to go over, and the clerk's office at the courthouse has not performed marriages in over 10 years, or right at 10 years. I just verified that with the current clerk. So it's not just an all of a sudden thing that they just stopped doing. They have, the last person to marry anyone was Laura Sterrett, and her term was up in 2008. So that was the last county clerk to marry anyone.
I think that's what I said from the time I came here. I
Okay,
came
yeah, I
here in
didn't know how long
October
you-
of
yeah.
2009.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know how long you've
And
been here.
since that time,
Correct.
it has not been done in your
But,
office.
but
It's been
currently,
over
I
there.
would say probably for the last 3 months, 4 months, Craig's is the only name that's been on the sheet. And we've been asked to give out his personal contact number, not the city's number. And that is the number we give out. So if they're coming over here now, I would say they're just not following the directions that they're being told. But I will say they come over here because it is free. That is true.
All right. Thank you. Council members?
So where did you come up with this $18?
I just modeled it off of a couple other cities and town ordinances. Those dollar amounts mean nothing. This was simply kind of a format to get in front of you guys to be able to start working off of. I always find it's really hard to just pull things, and so if I just give you guys something to tell me to fix, to bring it to what you guys want, that always seems to go better. So that number means nothing. It's not required. There's not a minimum, maximum, you know, that's just an example. Purely an example. And for what it's worth, some surrounding cities do not charge a fee, but do have some requirements around who performs them and when. But a lot of clerk treasurers do charge a fee on their private time to do it as well. So I know, not that you want to get into that, but I mean, it's not something that our kind of neighboring cities and towns love either. It is kind of a disturbance to them. So, on the Sallow, for example.
Do we have any further discussion from the council? Would we like to pass this on first reading, knowing that amendments are going to come next month, or do we want to table it and have first reading next month?
I move that we table it until next month.
Second.
A motion and a second to table discussion of ordinance 2017-11 until next month. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Is there anything I need to provide you first with?
What's a typical, is $18 a typical, or would?
I saw that a couple times. I could gather more examples and just get a good, like, ticker list of all the surrounding cities and towns and what they charge, if that's helpful. So we can get kind of a better guide than just this one I provided you with.
It just seems like 3 pages is a lot to digest for, it's charged $20.
Well, a lot of it is when you deal with money, you have to kind of specify where it's going so that it's clear that it's not going to a shame fund, for instance. You know what I mean? It has to be really specific on where it's going and what it's being used for. Some of that stuff has to be in there. Some of it can be taken out.
Is there anything else that the council request from Ms. Martin? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to discussion of strategic planning. Sorry, my hic slipped out. You've been presented with a proposal titled Strategic Plan Development, Execution, and Analysis. I'm asking for your input on the process for the adoption of the strategic plan, which I proposed in sections B and C in that document. Some of the dates will need to be changed. But does the council have any suggestions as it pertains to that document? I think I should have provided in that document previous strategic plans dating back to the '94 strategic plan. I'm still looking for it this time.
Is this necessary for grants and so forth?
I don't believe so, but I think it's good to know where we're going and what the city council, the community, the Board of Public Works and Safety, any county officials, that we can get involved in the process, to know what our priorities are and try to map out where we're going, and get more of the community involved. So I don't necessarily know if it's required for grants, but I think it's a good thing to have for the city.
I thought what you put in there of residential growth was certainly appropriate as something to strive for.
Thank you. I guess I'm asking for procedurally, just so that we can get the input from community members, if that's so desired by the council, how we go through this process of establishing. That's just a draft. It's supposed to be amended. It's just kind of a starting place based on the previous plans. But I guess the summation of what I have is provide links to prior plans in this document on the city website. It should be up there right now. Send letters to other governing agencies around and involved in the Delphi community. Send press releases to the media letting them know that we're going through the strategic plan public input process. Provide the public with 30 days is what I had in here, I believe, to provide in writing their suggestions as to those items which should be priorities for the city of Delphi. I've got residential, commercial, industrial, recreation, health. There's, I think, 12 in there. And then how we go about adoption and execution. I don't know if there's anything that needs to be changed, added. Public input is a good idea. I was going to send to the heads of nonprofit organizations within the Delphi community as well, a letter to let them know that we're going through this process.
Asking input.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it would be good if we even had a special meeting just among ourselves to kind of go through it and talk about it. I mean, I can read it at home and say, that's a good point, or whatever, but
Would you like to do that before or after we get the public input?
I would be surprised how much public input you get, but, I mean, we're pretty busy right now with budgets and so forth, so I'm not proposing an
An August
immediate
meeting?
meeting. But I do think, you know, for us to read it, to talk about it, would be helpful.
So I think before we do that, we need to get it out in the public and just see if anybody has any other ideas. I think it's pretty comprehensive what you've done. But I don't see a reason for us to meet until we get more input. If we get more input, you know, I don't see many changes myself.
Any other comments from the council?
I see where the several different groups, like, that are already involved in this, like your, civic groups. Both of your county, and your city chamber of commerce, historic society, reservation society, Delphi, Lebanon. I think you're going to, we're going to sit down and talk about this. We need somebody from these organizations to come in and discuss with us what their ideas are, so we can better understand where we're at and where we want to go with this. That's my own personal feeling about it.
So that would be more of a, I believe in '94 they had a visioning exercise, and they may have had one since, where they brought members of the community together. They had a mediator, and I know like Okra did something similar to this at the Opera House a couple weeks ago, where they say, what do you guys think we need for this, big group? What are important? What's on your mind? And then they write them all down, and you go up and you put dots next to the ones that you think are most important. But that could be something that we do in this as well, and it could be before the council sits down and discusses it. So let me propose this. Next week, since we're doing budget this week, I notify the public input period. We set it out until mid-September, where we have one of those large visioning exercises. I'll have to get a mediator, I believe. Dave Wright did it, has done it in the past. And then maybe September, October, we either have a special meeting or we do it at a regular meeting. Probably have a special meeting to adopt and discuss it further just amongst the council. Would that seem?
discuss it, not adopt it.
Yeah, I think, we probably need to discuss it first and then amend it, and then look at adopting it later in the year. That'd be all right? I'm just trying to get ideas that go here.
We all agree?
All right, that is how I will proceed. Before we get into public or comments section, we've got announcements. Just a reminder, budget workshops here Wednesday and Thursday night, 5:30 p.m. Old Settlers is August 9th through 12th. Board of Works meets work session next Thursday at 9 a.m. with a regular meeting third Monday in August at 5:30 p.m. Fire Territory Board meets August 23rd at 5:30. Board of Aviation Commissioners meets at 7 p.m. on the 24th. Parks and Recreation Advisory Board is meeting Tuesday, August 29th at 5:15 p.m. 5:15? I think it's 5:15. And then the Board of Public Works and Safety has a work session August 31st at 9 a.m. With that, we go to City Council comments and requests, starting with Council President Pro Tem Pearson.
Not at this time.
Councilman Seward.
Have you gotten anywhere with your APC board appointment?
I talked to Mary Ann Burton today for the Board of Zoning Appeals. She will represent the city of Delphi's executive appointment on that board.
On both boards, or?
No, on the BZA. I don't think the BZA member can be the APC member. They can be appointed to both. One can be voted into the BZA. But I'm going to leave Kirk Durand on at this point.
Have you got a Board of Works appointment yet, or?
I do not.
Okay. And the garage on High Street?
I haven't looked back into it. Is the dumpster still there?
I think so. I think they take a board off a week.
All right. I got to see if power's still on. If not, I got a sledgehammer in my trunk.
That's all
All right. Councilman Shockley.
I want to thank everybody for showing up, and especially the landowners who expressed concern and everything about the parcels that are involved in wanting to be zoned and how to zone, all that stuff. I just thank you very much for doing that for us. It gives me a better understanding of where you're coming from. I thank you for that.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Trigger.
Nothing.
Councilman Garrison.
Nothing.
We'll move next to Clerk Treasurer, comments and requests.
Yes, gonna give you a little humor. I don't probably come across a little harsh tonight, but marrying people has been at times quite enjoyable. It's been an experience. It's been kind of a joke sometimes in my office how long some of these possible marriages are going to last. And further insight into that, we married a couple 1 week, and 3 weeks later he come rushing back in wanting to know if his wife had been in and filed for divorce. So, but we had a couple come in to us one day, and they had called and made an appointment, and they came in and proceeded to tell us they had known each other in high school and had went together all through high school, had broke up at the prom, and then they had went years apart. They had married others, their partners, both of them had died, and they ended up getting back together, and they come into our little office to be married. So we married them. And when we got done marrying them and did all the paperwork, he said, I would like to give you something for doing this. And I told him he wanted to know what the fee was, and I said, I cannot charge you, so you can make a donation. And at that time, I was giving it to the Educational Foundation if we go. Nevertheless, he opened up his billfold and he got out a 20, and he said, will this work? Before I could answer him, she said, absolutely not. Give her 40. I figured that marriage is going to work.
Seriously.
Thank you, Clerk Treasurer. We'll move next to public comment. Yes, sir.
Everett Snowberger, I'd like to comment on potential discussion about agricultural zoning in the city of Delphi. The problem that would occur with that would be if you just granted a blanket agriculture zoning. It allows cattle, pigs, chickens, goats, etc., all farm animals in there, which would be probably deemed unacceptable. One of the things is Dale knows that the Area Plan Commission is going to be wrestling with in the future is whether changing the zoning of U1 to permit 4-H animals inside the city limits. And this would not be inside of Delphi unless Delphi would choose so to adopt this. But anyway, the recommendation I would say would, if you have an agricultural zoning for areas such as that out on the east end of town, that it be deemed urban agricultural, and that it preclude farm animals, automatically so that it preserves the peace and tranquility and quality of life by not having to deal with livestock animals, you know, in your neighborhood. You know, as sitting on the area or on the Board of Zoning Appeals, we had to deal with a instance where S1 district had chickens in it, and you know, and consequently it didn't. No, it was U1, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Yeah, it was U1, and consequently they had not requested a variance or anything, and then they came back afterwards after the neighbors started complaining, requested a variance, and you know, they had roosters and stuff, and it did not work well for the neighbors. So that's just a little tidbit of information. But urban agriculture might be something you consider that would permit row crop farming, trees, or those type of non-objectionable agricultural operations.
But if we don't already have that zoning distinction, couldn't we draw that out however we wanted?
You as a city can write your zoning ordinance however you so desire.
But, and preclude cattle and,
Yes.
The
You could, an easy way to do it would be to classify it as urban agricultural and
yeah,
because the city cannot annex any farm operations that have livestock inside the city limits. You know, I've seen many instances where, for instance, Galesburg, Illinois annexed a huge amount of agricultural land outside of the city, and there was a hog farm in the middle of it. So they annexed everything around the hog farm and not the hog farm. Lafayette has done it many times in things such as Alcoa, and the Essex wire plant are technically encompassed by the city of Lafayette, but not in the city of Lafayette. Those are county businesses. So you know, there's lots of things you can do if you're thinking about it and if you're creative enough. You know, but
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you're creative enough, you can preclude some of that stuff and
Yes.
still get away with the changing
Yes.
distinction.
yes.
Okay.
So
Good thought.
yeah, just recommendation.
Thank you, sir. Public comment?
I'd say perhaps we could change from crop production to livestock production on that property next door. No?
I don't know if it's allowed in S1 or not.
In S1 it is permitted, but if you rezone it as
30,000 chickens.
yeah 30,000 chickens, you know, and I think it's maybe
You fit that on 10 acres.
I think so.
yeah. Well, you can legally, or you know, 30,000 chickens is not a very big house, but
I was at that meeting this morning
That's what they talked about in the meeting.
with Jeff, and the lady said that was sitting next to me, she said she only had 7 chickens and she'd like to raise them because of the 4-H. And she's on the outskirts, right on the edge of Burlington. And the farm comes right up to the edge of her property. And it's my understanding that that was why she wanted to rezone, so she could raise the 4-H chickens. And they were having trouble with them getting out or something, and that's what brought it all together, I guess.
I just wanted to sort of piggyback on to what Dale and Mike said about the fundraiser today for the senior center. There were a number of people. It was a free will offering, and they had the pulled pork sandwich. It was very generous, and we had food left that the senior services will use part of it for their meals. And but anyway, I thought it was a successful endeavor, and you know, I think we as a community need to support that. The grant that she applied for was not able to they were not able to give it to us because of the governmental, and the city owns the land. And there might be some options that we could explore in another avenue, because all we have up is just the shell. And so, you know, we have, according to Jeff, maybe about $100,000 yet that we need to finish it so that they can have occupancy. We have, I mean, it's just the shell up. There's no insulation. There's the concrete on the floor it's all, make a great skating rink right now. But anyway, I think we as a community need to support it. We need to tell people about it and ask. I know my father-in-law went to the senior meals every day for years after his wife died. And, you know, it's a great service. It's a socialization as well as the nourishment. And, you know, I think it's needed by our community and enhances the community. So, you know, I think we all need to get on board and say, let's make this happen.
That was nice.
I'm done.
Thank you. That was nice.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hearing none, there's one last motion we made.
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
7:55.
I think we're getting slow. Because I guess it's Fisher's in the end.